this is Megan. Welcome back to our homestead. Today we're in the kitchen because I have a DIY recipe for a homemade salve for you. I tried this salve for the first time earlier this summer, a little over, I don't know, probably 2 months ago, and it has been excellent for all sorts of bee stings, cuts, rashes, bruises. It has been, and even just dry skin. So this has been a great recipe, and I wanted to share it with you today because it's time to make some more. I have all my ingredients. I didn't think to show you my dried herbs before I put them in the pot, but I can show you what I have. Today I actually stepped on a bee outside while I was walking around barefoot, and so I was able to grab some plantain out of my yard and chop it up and put it right on my foot, and then put this salve, which contains plantain as well, on it, and the pain from the sting went away within 5 minutes. So since I had to make it anyway, I thought it would be good to share. And you can see here, I've got, this is my medicinal herbs, Rosemary Gladstar's Guide to Medicinal Herbs. This is a fantastic book. It not only shows you recipes and what to do and how to actually prepare herbal things, it gives you tips and tricks and things you might be concerned about. And it also actually introduces you to the herbs, lets you know how to identify them, what each herb is useful for, and even recipes to make different things. So I want to zoom in and show you what's in my pot, and I'll explain more about what's going on. Okay, so here I have my double broiler setup. I actually started it several minutes ago, and I was using a smaller pot and a smaller glass bowl, but it just wasn't seeming to heat up enough, and so I actually switched to my larger pot. It has a few inches of water in it that are going to boil and then heat up my oil here. So I'm making an infused oil. It's just Kirkland's organic olive oil that I got from Costco. You can use other oils, but olive oil is one of the best ones for your skin, and it holds the herbs well and it lasts a long time. So I have olive oil in here and my dried herbs, and let me try to show you which ones I have. So there are 4 different herbs in here. I have red clover, which actually was just growing wild in my yard, and you can see a bunch of those heads. Then the little tiny things floating in here, these ones, this is actually from yarrow flower. Then I have comfrey, which I grow in my little herb garden. The comfrey leaves are hard to tell. I think they're these, that might be a plantain leaf. So I've got plantain and comfrey. The plantain have lots of ribs along the back, lots of spines, so you can kind of see that one there. I think that's actually one of each. Yeah, so the one closer to the camera is the plantain. The back side of the plantain leaf has all of those spines on it, and then the comfrey leaf is actually, seems hairy. They can actually be a little prickly when you go to pick them. Comfrey, they grow easily. So the plantain and the red clover were actually wild in my yard, but I know that it hasn't been sprayed. We've lived here for a year, and it was vacant for a year, so I know that there was no spraying or anything on there. You'd want to be careful harvesting any herbs from near a roadway where there'd be a lot of car exhaust, or near anywhere where it might have been sprayed with pesticides. And then the yarrow and the comfrey I grow, so I know that that's clean. All 4 of those ingredients are exceptionally good for pain and stings and skin, and so that combination has worked really well for us. The goal here to make an infused oil is you just heat it up until the oil comes to a low simmer, and then you let it simmer for 30 to 60 minutes. So it does take some time, but it's very simple. I don't have to do anything. Just keep an eye on it so it wouldn't get to, a high boil or anything like that. Once it's finished, I'll strain out the herbs, and then I will add some beeswax to it to help it harden up into more of a salve instead of just an oil. So when this is finished, I will come back and show you the product, show you how I strain it, and when we're all done, I will get to show you a finished product. I want to show you a little bit inside this book. So this is one of the first herbal books I've gotten. I have friends who do herbal things, and I've seen recipes online, but I love to have a book that I can actually reference and read through and read again, because inevitably I forget things. The first time I actually made this salve, I totally messed up and did not use dried herbs. I used fresh herbs. I had just pulled them, and then they actually had some bugs on them and stuff, so I rinsed them off, and water and oil do not mix. Thankfully, we were able to use it fast enough that I did not have any spoilage problems, but you always want to make sure to use dried herbs, and that was really easy to do. You literally just collect them, then you lay them out. I laid them out on one of the chairs on my deck. It is a covered deck, so it wouldn't get rained on. And then I'd flip them over every few days and left them there for about a week. And then I was able to store them in a mason jar in my house. So very simple. It can seem intimidating at first because I'm not sure what to do, but it really is just as simple as letting the leaves sit out in a single layer and then they dry for you. So you just want to be aware of rain or them getting too wet. Inside the book here, we have a table of contents, and you can see that it's introducing herbs and then how to make your own recipes. And it's just how to make an oil, a salve, a tincture, and other things. And then this part, the rest of the book shows you about each individual plant. And so there's lots of great information in here. So here we have plantain. There are actually two varieties. This broadleafed one is the one that I use. It grows everywhere. It loves to grow on walkways, in trails, places you've just tilled. I would be stunned if you couldn't find it somewhere in your yard. And again, it comes in this broadleafed variety, and it comes in a skinnier leaf variety as well. But this book is wonderful because it tells you all about the plant. Then it also tells you what parts we normally use, what's in it, and any sort of safety factors, and then includes usually several recipes for each plant. This is the plantain salve recipe that I'm using, and it even says to combine things in here, including yarrow, red clover, and pretty much anything else you want. So this is what I was basing on to combine these herbs, but then the actual recipe for a salve is up in the front. This is red clover. Red clover grows in most yards. Most people are trying to get rid of their white clover, although it is so beneficial to bees, they really shouldn't be. Red clover is usually a little bit larger, and I noticed that it came up a little bit after the white clover this season, but it has continued to flower. This one is very high in vitamin C, and again, the same. I love that the book has such great pictures. You can see the plant, you can identify it, and be pretty sure that you've got the right thing. Red clover especially is very easily identifiable. There's more great recipes. The next one that's in here that we used is yarrow. That one's back here. The yarrow I grow actually has a pink flower, but both are the same. It's just a different variety. And so I was able to use my yarrow in the recipe. And this book does not include comfrey, but I'm already familiar with comfrey, so I can use that as one too. And I wanted to show you at the beginning the actual instructions for making an herbal tincture. So there's tinctures, there's pictures, there's step-by-step instructions, handy tables for how much you're doing. This is how to make a medicinal salve, which I will be doing because I'll be adding beeswax. And this is just how to make the actual oil. So oil's here, how to make a medicinal oil, and the double broiler, and then straining it out to get just the oil. All right, so the oil infusion is finally finished. So I wanted to show you what we have. You can see the oil is a much darker green color. I was able to run it through not only just a strainer, but also cheesecloth to get out all the pieces of the herbs. And so now we're gonna add the beeswax, and we're gonna add some essential oils. And as we add the beeswax, we will put a little bit of it, a spoonful of the salve on a plate and stick it in the freezer for about 1 minute. And when we pull it out, we'll be able to see how thick we have it. And we're going to continue adding beeswax until it sets up hard enough, but not so hard that it's impossible to actually use. right, here is our finished product. I have 5 jars that are pretty much full to the top. I don't have to worry about expansion. I'm not freezing them or anything. I will stick them in the refrigerator when they get a little bit cooler. They should last anywhere from 6 months to a year or even longer. We used it up far quicker than it could have possibly spoiled for us, and we have plenty here to give away to friends and family. And again, these are the essential oils I used: rosemary, sacred frankincense, clove bud, lavender, helichrysum, and tea tree. Helichrysum is great for bruising. Tea tree and lavender calm skin irritations, and the clove and rosemary and stuff help with pain, and the sacred frankincense is just kind of for an extra boost. It really is easy to do, and don't be intimidated to try it on your own.